Good morning. I am Dr. Neeta Mathur, and today we will try to look at the essays of Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon, the essayist, is prescribed for the students of BA Part 1 English Literature in Paper 2 Prose and Fiction. First, a look at the biography of Francis Bacon. Bacon was born in the year 1561 and he died in 1626. Francis Bacon was an English Renaissance statesman and philosopher, best known for his promotion of the scientific method. Who was Francis Bacon? Francis Bacon served as Attorney General and Lord Chancellor of England, resigning amid charges of corruption. His more valuable work was philosophical. Bacon took up Aristotelian ideas, arguing for an empirical, inductive approach known as the scientific method, which is the foundation of modern scientific inquiry. Early life. The statesman and philosopher Francis Bacon was born in London on January 22nd, 1561. His father, Sir Nicholas Bacon, was Lord Keeper of the Seal. His mother, Lady Anne Cook Bacon, was his father's second wife and daughter to Sir Anthony Cook, a humanist, who was Edward VI tutor. Francis Bacon's mother was also the sister-in-law of Lord Berkeley. The younger of Sir Nicholas and Lady Anne's two sons, Francis Bacon began attending Trinity College, Cambridge in April 1573 when he was 12 years old. He completed his course of study at Trinity in December 1575. The following year, Bacon enrolled in a law program at Honourable Society of Gray's Inn. Finding the curriculum at Gray's Inn stale and old-fashioned, Bacon favoured the new Renaissance humanism over Aristotelianism. Aristotelianism means a tradition of philosophy that takes its defining inspiration from the work of Aristotle, the famous Greek philosopher, and scholasticism. Scholasticism means the system of theology and philosophy taught in medieval England universities, based on Aristotelian logic and the writings of the early Christian fathers and emphasizing tradition and dogma. More traditional schools of thought in England at the time. A year after he enrolled at Gray's Inn, Bacon left school to work under the British ambassador to France during his mission in Paris. 2.5 years later, he was forced to abandon, meaning give up, the mission prematurely and return to England when his father died unexpectedly. His meager inheritance left him broke. In other words, he had almost no money and he was penniless. Counsel and statesman. Fortunately for Bacon, in 1581, he landed a job as a member for Cornwall in the House of Commons. Bacon was also able to return to Gray's Inn and complete his education. By 1582, he was appointed the position of outer barrister. Bacon's political career took a big leap forward in 1584. Bacon held his place in Parliament from 1584 to 1617, during which time he was extremely active in politics, law, and the royal court. In 1603, Bacon was knighted upon James I's accession to the British throne. Accession means when this king, James I, came to the throne of England. He continued to work his way swiftly up the legal and political ranks, achieving Solicitor General in 1607 and Attorney General 6 years later. In 1616, his career peaked when he was invited to join the Privy Council. Just a year later, he reached the same position of his father, that is, Lord Keeper of the Great Seal. In 1618, Bacon surpassed his father's achievements when he was promoted to the lofty title of Lord Chancellor, one of the highest political offices in England. Lord Chancellor would be equal to the Minister of Home Affairs today. In 1621, Bacon became Viscount St. Albans. In 1621, the same year that Bacon became Viscount St. Albans, he was accused of accepting bribes and impeached by Parliament for corruption. Bacon was tried and found guilty after he confessed. After 4 days of imprisonment, Bacon was released at the cost of his reputation and his long-standing place in Parliament. The scandal put a serious strain on 60-year-old Bacon's health. Philosopher of Science. Bacon remained in St. Albans after the collapse of his political career. Retired, he was now able to focus on one of his other passions, the philosophy of science. From the time he had reached adulthood, Bacon was determined to alter the face of natural philosophy. He strove to create a new outline for the sciences with a focus on empirical scientific methods, methods that depended on tangible proof. Tangible means something that you can touch and feel, while developing the basis of applied science. Bacon's approach placed an emphasis on experimentation and interaction. Bacon's new scientific method involved gathering data, prudently analyzing it, and performing experiments to observe nature's truths in an organized way. He believed that when approached this way, science could become a tool for the betterment of humankind. It was not until 1620, when Bacon published Book 1 of Novum Organum Scientiarum. Novum Organum is Latin for new method of science, that Bacon established himself as a reputable philosopher of science. Unlike a typical hypothesis, however, Bacon did not emphasize the importance of testing one's theory. Instead, he believed that observation and analysis were sufficient in producing a greater comprehension that creative minds could use to reach still further understanding. Writing career. During his career as counsel and statesman, Bacon often wrote for the court. In 1584, he wrote his first political memorandum, a letter of advice to Queen Elizabeth. In 1592, to celebrate the anniversary of the Queen's coronation, coronation is जिसको हम हिंदी में राजाभिषेक कहते हैं, जब किसी राजा या रानी को उनका खिताब, उनका पद दिया जाता है और उनके सर पर ताज या मुकुट रखा जाता है, उसे हिंदी में राजाभिषेक और इंग्लिश में कोरोनेशन कहते हैं. He wrote an entertaining speech in praise of knowledge. The year 1597 marked Bacon's first publication, a collection of essays about politics. The collection was later expanded and republished in 1612 and 1625. In 1605, Bacon published The Advancement of Learning in an unsuccessful attempt to rally supporters for the sciences. Rally means to gather, to collect. In 1609, he departed from political and scientific genres when he released On the Wisdom of the Ancients, his analysis of ancient mythology. Bacon then resumed writing about science. Although Bacon's body of work covered a fairly broad range of topics, all of his writings shared one thing in common. It expressed Bacon's desire to change antiquated systems. Antiquated means outdated, which was something that is no longer useful. Death and legacy. In March 1626, Bacon was performing a series of experiments with ice. While testing the effects of cold on the preservation and decay of meat, he stuffed a hen with snow near Highgate, England, and caught a chill. Ailing means very sick. Bacon stayed at Lord Arundel's home in London. The guest room where Bacon resided was cold and musty. He soon developed bronchitis. ब्रोंकाइटिस में छाती में यानी कि आपके लंग्स में, फेफड़ों में इन्फेक्शन हो जाता है और आपको सांस लेने में तकलीफ़ होती है. On April 1626, a week after he had arrived at Lord Arundel's estate, Francis Bacon died. In the years after Bacon's death, his theories began to have a major influence on the evolving field of 17th century European science. Today, Bacon is still widely regarded as a major figure in scientific methodology and natural philosophy during the English Renaissance. Having advocated an organized system of obtaining knowledge with a humanitarian goal in mind, he is largely credited with ushering in the new early modern era of human understanding. With this, we come to an end about the biography of Francis Bacon. In the next session, we will look at his essay, first of studies, and then in the next session of travel. Thank you.